There we go. I put on a micro layer shield against the UV rays bouncing off the atmosphere, so I can say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again on another conscious evolution, another opportunity for us to find ourselves present and consider what it is we fixate on. We human beings have this uncanny ability to fixate on things, right? It's actually an evolutionary trait. It made us extremely efficient, determined hunters. We are called persistence hunters, where we'll hunt you to the point of you collapsing in exhaustion, and then we'll kill you. Right? Like that's what we human beings. We are extremely dangerous creatures as it relates to that. All right? And it is this fractal of we don't do that stuff anymore for the most part. We don't go out hunting in the same way, but we still have this ability to fixate. And as a result, we end up fixating more often than not on things to the point of obsession. And in a world where we have access to all information all the time, it becomes very precarious what we end up fixating on. There is a bunch of stuff going on in the world right now. Goodness. So much to fixate on, so much to worry about, so many instances of stress, so many convictions of things going haywire, things not being ideal. And I'm not suggesting that you close your eyes and not look at any of it. What I am suggesting is that you don't fixate on it, right? To see it in the same way as I see the wind rustling those leaves right now. To be like, oh, okay, the wind with all of its molecular mass and all of its momentum is moving those leaves. Neat. And then I conclude that thought and I move on to the next, ideally, right? Where with the internet as it is, because it has this infinite memory, if you see something perturbing, you can re-watch that video, read that article over and over again, right? Listen to that sad song 50 times in a row. You can do that too, all right? And the internet won't stop you. You know, it will allow you to fixate on whatever it is you want to fixate on. Suddenly, Bo Burnham is here in my mind. Welcome to the internet. Take a look around. Anything and everything you can think of can be found. There are mountains of content, some better, some worse. If none of it's of interest to you, you'd be the first. Welcome to the internet. Yeah, it is kind of like that, isn't it? Goodness, Bo. You knew, bruh. We don't do that stuff anymore. Say that after your first, what's the best Chinese takeout around here quiz. Yeah. Again, hey, freestyles, nice having you here, friend. We're not persistence hunting the Chinese workers, right? Like at least the Chinese place is like stationary. So we can just like go there and it will be there. Where the kind of persistence hunting I'm talking about, Sam, is the willingness to literally exhaust something else to death. Right? I'm from Nepal, bro. Freestyle. Thank you for joining me. I was talking about Nepal just yesterday. Yeah, I was like sharing the whole fractal. I was talking about the social media ban. I was talking about the 19 people that got killed by the police force. I was talking about the outrage of that and the burning down of the parliament and the invading of the government officials' freaking luxury homes. Were you a part of the protest Thank you for finding yourself here. I live in South Africa. I live in South Africa. And we face the same kinds of problems. I'm 14 years old. Jeebies, dude. You got to see some wild stuff as a 14-year-old. Yeah, the world is definitely different today than it was when I was 14. I'll tell you that much. Sup, dog? I'm sorry, Zach Hunter. I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, bro, it's nice having you here. Yeah, yeah. We are very persistent beings. Our ability to place our focus on something and be unwavering, all right? I am persistence hunting, if you will, a goal, all right? Can you make my brother? Uh, that sounds like such a strange sentence. Are you asking me to do things to your mom? That's a new one. I'm gonna have to pass on that, homie. Somebody else is gonna have to give you a brother, bro. Can you make my brother? Maybe you can give me some more context of what it is you're asking. Love is true. Love is true. I'm suddenly, well, what's happening? Yeah, persistence hunters. I persistently just fun. Bless. Thank you. Can you make? Can you make fun, my brother? Sometimes. I think it depends on what your definition of fun is, right? I find fun, if you will, in the exploration of ideas. And today's idea that I want to explore is that part of us that fixates on things, right? I have been very fixated on this space. I don't know if you saw the title freestyle, but this is I don't understand English. Yeah, that might make it a little bit difficult for us to communicate. However, I used to not understand English as well. And then I kept exposing myself to it and I kept trying to speak it. And here I am, fluent for the most part. I still sometimes find myself wondering what word I'm supposed to use, but that's okay, all right? Using our brain is healthy too. Get fixated on learning how to speak English, it'll serve you. It's a good language, right? I don't know if it's the best language, but it's expressive at the very least. You'll get to say the things that you mean, or at the very least, you'll get to make the other person feel something. Nepal night. It's night in Nepal right now. You must be a few hours ahead of me. You are India time, right? I think. Let me quickly check. Nepal. Yeah. Exactly. Little bit further along than I am. It is night on that side. Nepal is a big country. I'm seeing now. Relatively big. You understand my English language? Yeah, for the most part. I don't understand what's happening up there right now. Right? It's so gorgeous. I wish I could. That's so beautiful, the way that's written. Jewel YouTube. Man, that's awesome. I wish I could understand and write that language. It looks like alien text. All right? To me, at the very least, it looks much cooler than English does. Nepal has an uprising. 19 people got snot. I know about that, Zach Hunter. I was just talking to Freestyle about that. Yeah, they killed 19 people and they paid the price for it. All right, I don't think they paid enough of a price because, again, how do you quantify human life? But they at least, had their shit mixed. I'm sorry, shouldn't say stuff like that. Your national language, my national language is Afrikaans. I don't know if it's national, as in everybody speaks it. We are a rainbow nation. Our country has is it 19 as well? 16? 16 recognized languages. So in that way, yeah, it's not exactly the national language. However, that being said, I do speak two languages, one of which is Afrikaans. Hy sê ek praat Afrikaans, dis my eerste taal. En ek gaan sommer hierdie oomblik vat om bietjie van my frustrasies te vocalize en te sê wat gaan aan. Dankie Sam. Dankie Sam, ek waardeer. Ek waardeer dat jy seker gemaak het hierdie spasie word nie oorgehardloop deur nonsens nie. Dankie Sam. Ja. Talking to Sam Afrikaans directly. How about that, Samus? Suddenly I'll switch over to my strong English accent. Speak like I'm straight from Africa. What are you doing? I'm doing it though. I'm doing live streams every day. I do yoga classes. Do I do yoga classes? I teach. I guess I do them too. I teach yoga classes. I make art. It sounded like German. It's kind of like German. A little bit more Dutch leaning, technically, but it's basically, a Germanic language. Oh, yeah. I'm feeling pretty tired. I've not been able to sleep more than 7 hours this whole month. And I've been thinking about Hoopy telling me that his yogi, his guru, I think he said, his guru said that we're not going to be able to sleep good this month. I slept 5 hours and 40 minutes. And then my brain was like, oh, wait, bro. Now we're not sleeping anymore. And I was like, no, but please. What can I please, sir? Can I sleepies? And it's like, nah. Nah, we are awake now. I did take a nap, but it didn't take away that mind pressure, that eye pressure, right? That sleeplessness can kind of bring into your space. We got Fasker giving plants some water. Isn't that nice? Fasker has been with us. See, close to a decade and a half. His Miyagi, like wax on, wax off stuff, you'll have to ask Hoopy. That would be awesome. I'm imagining Hoopy being the next Karate Kid suddenly. I can see him actually like rocking that role. I want him to kind of like go exactly as he is. I don't want him to be a kid. I want him to pretend that he's a kid, being a Karate Kid, but he's actually just Hoopy. I hope that he comes here. I'll share that fractal with him, Mr. Miyagi. I wish I had a Mr. Miyagi. I do actually. TBH. My Mr. Miyagi is Ryan. Yeah. He taught me my yoga classes that I teach right now. He invited me to become certified, right, as a yoga teacher. So I got some certification behind my name. Some way in which I can add value. Will I get to be a yoga teacher in the future? Who knows? Will yoga teaching be valuable? I like to believe so. I don't know if I'd ever want to have a robot or an AI technically teach me my yoga classes, right? A robot doing a pose perfectly. I mean, I guess I could follow cues, but I don't know if I would enjoy that. I kind of like find some value in the human experience. Man, my whole situation feels all scrungy, I don't know if there's something in the air. It feels like it. Brother, I'm going to play Free Fire. Nice. I have some friends who are fire dancers as well. Why? Why are my senses attacking me? Please. Can I have some mercy, please? Yeah, see. So much itch. Oh. What the fuck is that going on? I think it might be the dust. Maybe he's like liberalizing some dust right now or something. Ah! I'm trying to purge all of these demons. I don't know if it's helping, but I'm trying to I'm trying to distract myself. Please read comment fast. Don't tell me what to do, bro. Don't you dare tell me what to do. Hi, Jenim. It's nice having you. No, I have a certification behind my name. Yep, a certified hippie. Certified hippie. Certified, not a criminal as well. I'll have you know. I had to get police clearance certification like just the other day, and I got all of my paperworks. I got pieces of paper that says I've not been a criminal in 2 different countries. Yeah, sick. I've been good. Nice. Haven't been criminal. I could have so easily gone a different way though. You know, the desperation almost got to me. It was this close, like this close. But then I considered what that would mean. I also realized that if you give in to desperation, then that becomes your new based reality. You know, and I was like, yeah, that's not who I am. I'm not here for desperation. I'm here for creation. My entire body is clearly having like some sort of reaction to what's in the air right now. I'm not having a good time. Like, this is not fun. My sinuses are like, and my eyes are itching, and my skin is starting to let me know that it's also very upset. I'm trying to convince my body to stop. I'm having an internal dialogue. I'm like, okay, myself, you've had your fun losing your shit. Is it gonna help? Is it gonna help itching more? No. No, it's not. It's making me wish I had nanomachines in my body. All right, so I can turn things on and off. Maybe one day I'll get my imperial nanites. I watched another episode of The Foundation again yesterday. Episode 3 of season 3. I really love looking into the future. Even if it's sci-fi, seeing what the future could look like makes me want to live thousands of years even harder. I refuse to die before I see the future. Right? I refuse. I will not die. I will reincarnate if I have to, but I will not stop until I see the future. Hey, real quick, God loves you. Thank you, JN. JHN, God loves you too, dear friend. How long is your sausage? Longer than yours. Uncle Ruckus is here too. Good morning to you, River Coon. It's nice having you. We got TT. Suddenly we had a bunch of strange friends here. Hey, you left your vape in my truck last night. Interesting that you say that. I actually had a conversation about vapes with Unc Stanley today. You know, this morning I wake up still groggy and I hear a vehicle pull into the driveway. I come outside to see there's an Unc letting me know that he needs my help to be a drone operator so that we can go and find some cows. So I literally, in my boxers and in my little wife beater shirt, I get in this truck with him to go somewhere that I don't know. Right. And then I drone operate, and I unfortunately didn't find the cows in the search. It was a big piece of property. But then we start having conversations about nicotine and amongst them vapes. Right. And I share the conversation with him that I'd lie if I said I don't have that desire to like hit someone's vape when I see them hitting it close to me. Right. But the problem is that I I have a problem, would have a problem if I had to buy them for myself, because I would vape those things to the point of nausea. All right, I keep taking sips until I'm like, oh, oh, that's disgusting. Why do I feel like this? Right, and those cold shivers that run down your body. I'm like, oh yeah, this is horrible. I don't like whatever's going on right now. Me slightly poisoning myself, literally. And then we had the conversation about the finances involved, right? And I shared that I have friends who spend between 50 and $75 a month buying themselves these vapes, right? And I believe in acquiring valuable assets in turn. We live in a tokenized world these days, so you can buy anything. You can buy stocks for the exact amount that you would pay for a vape. And then 50 years from now, if you live for the next 50 years, you'll actually have something of value, right? You'll have something that retained some sort of economic importance, where I bet your ass that vape that you bought is going to be so many layers deep in trash that it's going to be more expensive digging it out than it has value in the ground, right? So yeah, if you're vaping right now, start buying anything else, right? Buy yourself some crypto instead. Your future self will be like, thanks, myself. I feel better health wise because I didn't vape. And also, now I have more economic opportunities. I love you for that. And I'll be like, you're welcome, myself. You're so welcome. Jesus Christ is Lord. You're so smart, bro. Thank you, CVS. I appreciate the love, dear friend. It's nice having you here. Good morning, crypto keepers. Hey, Hoopy. We were just talking about you, bro. I was mentioning the fact that I've been having a hard time sleeping. Is investing in volatile stock really a good idea? Darren, over a long enough time period, yes. Over the short period, everything is volatile, all right? And if we're comparing spending money on vapes versus investing in a volatile stock, it's going to be better 100 times out of 100, all right? Because if I buy vape, then I have little box that's going to go throw in trash, right? And then story's over. Where if I buy a volatile stock, maybe I'll spend the exact same $10 the vape would have cost me. And then maybe because it's volatile, my stock will be worth $7. And then it will be worth $11. And then it will be worth $8. And then it will be worth $15. Right? And if I'm like fixated on that and I can't look away, right? And we are talking about fixating ourselves a little bit. Get addicted to buying crypto. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, CVS. And there are a few good ones, right? The technology is becoming more mature. Our species are becoming awakened to the fact that that's the next revolution of finance, right? Tokenizing things makes it more accessible to everybody, technically. I disagree. I think saving your money and investing things like property hold much higher value. I don't know about you, Darren, but I ain't got the cash to fucking buy property, my bro, Thanos. Right? Like again, I don't know. We might be at different stages of our lives, but buying property is a little bit out of reach for me, dude. Right? Where buying $10 worth of crypto is in reach for most people. And that's kind of why these asset classes will see exponential growth, because many people cannot afford a home these days, right? But they can at least afford to buy some of these assets. And that's kind of like where we're competing right now. There, we will tokenize buildings as well. That's going to happen too, where you can buy fractions of a building, right? And in that way, you can invest in real estate. However, we can build more houses, right? We can build more houses. We can uh, erect more buildings. Like that stuff we can do. However, of a hard asset like Cardano or Bitcoin, there's only going to be so many of them, right? Like the blocks, the building blocks are finite. And in that way, everything else, especially our currency system, our fiat currency system, is going to be infinitely competing with that. And crypto has no top because fiat has no bottom, right? We can just make more. We can make a lot more. If you're smart, get a government contract to develop apartment buildings. I don't have that expertise, dear friend. If I had invested in those skills in my life, maybe I could. And again, you don't have to be uh, a development the development contractor to build a home, right? You can literally build yourself a little house out of mud and straw. You can do that. You can actually do that. Maybe you'll have to find a place to do that. But if you can convince someone, can I please build myself a little hut out of mud and straw? Then boom, suddenly there's a place for you to live. Where the same is not exactly possible with some of the other assets that we have access to these days. I see so many new friends in this space, and it is a pleasure having you here. Thank you. I'm getting to your comments now. I did fall behind a little bit. My granddad used to think that I was a hippie because he saw my browsing history of how to grow weed. Yeah, my parents know I'm a hippie because they pay attention to the way I am. It's not Uncle Becky. I thought it was Uncle Becky. That's Uncle Ruckus. And I think that's more like a pseudonym. What's up, sir? Good evening, Lucy. It's nice having you here too, friend. I'm gonna get to your comments. I'm speed running these. We are timeless and ageless. Reincarnation is the inevitable result of the infinite creatures. We live here for a reason. It's true. I look forward to seeing what we become as a species, right? I have a great deal of hope, right? If we had to continue down the pattern of just like printing our money into infinitum, right, it becomes more and more bleak. But the fact that we have alternatives to that, and those alternatives are becoming really sophisticated, programmable money, there's like literal systems in place where we can keep people reliable, we can keep people trustworthy, we can incentivize good behavior instead of in the way it is right now, incentivizing bad behavior, right? If I kill a bunch of people, I get their money, all right? And then that's good for me, technically, right? That's the incentives we live right now with. Where with crypto, if you kill a bunch of people and you steal their crypto, we can see where that money went from, right? The exact addresses that it came from and the address that it went to. And then we can at least do something about that. We can refuse you services because you stole and killed some people, right? Where with current cash, it doesn't work that way. Love, 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 love. Uh, well, getting good vibes here. I'm new in chat. Stella Strum. I don't know if you're still here, but bless you, friend. It's nice having you here. I'm here to bring some good vibes. Imagine being addicted to a vape, bro. I don't even have to imagine. I've seen it. I've seen many people. I've tried to convince my friend, right, to just stop. Like, please, bro. And then he's like, oh, yeah, but I used to smoke cigarettes. So this is better. I'm like, Bratanas, you're not gonna convince me, I'm not gonna believe you. Where are you from? I live and am from South Africa, Shani. It's nice to have you here. Where are you from? I disagree. I think saving money in investing in things like property is a much higher value. Yeah, again, if you have that kind of cash to buy property, sure, you knock yourself out. But unfortunately, our housing crisis, we might be on the precipice of another one, right? And then if you spend a bunch of millions on a house right now, you might only get 1 million for it next year, kind of vibes, right? And in that way, housing can also be volatile. The only reason housing goes up is because our currency is being devalued. So there's literally more money in our industry competing for the same houses. Right. So it's not exactly that the houses are a good investment vehicle. It's just that they're a finite resource competing with an infinite resource. All right. And again, we come back to tokenizing because tokens can also be finite in that way, or at least quantifiably so. Right. We can know how many there are. The older thinking saving money only gets eaten by inflation. Exactly. Is your vibration and manifestation going to save you, or will you trust in God? I don't think I have to trust in God, to say it like in so many words. Like trust is something that you almost like extend, right? Right now, I am infinitely taken care of by God, right? I don't have to trust because trust is something that I almost have to extend. Like I have to have all of this proof and then I trust, right? And that trust can then potentially be broken, where God doesn't break our trust, right? Here I am breathing air, having a beautiful world all around me, right? I don't have to trust that. It is. It is. I have 2 Bitcoin that my mother gave me. Holy shit. Yossi, I'm like, I think if I like reach the age 50 and I've been able to acquire a single Bitcoin, I'm gonna be like, oh thank goodness. Right? That's almost like my long-term goal. I don't earn nearly enough money to even get close to that. I'm earning like, if I'm lucky, $300 a month right now. Right? So even at the current prices, let me see, it's like 116 grand a coin right now, right? Divide by 300. Even if I invest everything I make a month, it's going to take me 16 years in order to acquire a single Bitcoin. But I'm okay with that. But that's also assuming that the price doesn't go up, which it absolutely will. All right. So in the next 16 years, I'm locking, I'm locking it. You're so waxed. I'm happy that your dad did that for you, bro. You're super lucky. I hope that you appreciate him. And I hope that you honor him by not selling them, right? Don't sell them unless it's literally $20 million a coin, bro. That's the only time you ever think about selling. Is your channel about awakening or something? Getting good vibes, liked and subbed? Yeah, something like that. We talk about conscious evolution is the way that I almost like label this space, where we as a species have already evolved as far as we are, right? Like I'm not gonna grow an extra finger anytime soon as a evolutionary process, but all of the evolution that I will go through is going to happen through my mind, right? That I'll have to evolve as a person. I'll have to evolve as a creator. I'll have to evolve as a lover. I'll have to evolve as uh, a leader, right? And in that way, all of that is going to happen through my consciousness. And we show up with that intention. Hi from Malaysia. Hey, Jackie G. Bless you too, dear friend. Welcome to South Africa. Invest in your skills, invest in your ability to build your own home, be productive in your own survival. Good advice. None of that is true. Start small. Guarantee right now you could buy property. Darren, I really appreciate you for like believing in me so fervorously. But again, I make $300 a month right now. Right? No bank in their right mind would give me a loan to buy property, and nobody is gonna sell me their property for $300. All right? Like I can barely rent a place for $300. I might be able to rent a place, but then I won't have food to eat. So I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I'm gonna have to push back a little bit. The government of Canada gave out contracts to developers to build homes and apartment buildings. That's what I'm working towards now. That's good, bro. That is you adding value to society. It will add value to your spirit as well. You look like Will Ferrell fused with Henry Cavill. Thank you for saying that. That's so nice, Jackie G. I like that. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Oh, that escalated quickly. Shani, what do you do to earn $300 a month? I am a certified yoga teacher. With that, I earn between $150 and $183 a month. And then I'm an artist as well, right? I create on Patreon. So there, I get like $100, and then I get like $150 to $180 with my yoga as well, right? And then I post these. Where is my internet is being fantastic, so great. And then I make these as well, right? These are like my final pieces where I edge them out. So yeah, that's basically what I've been doing to earn a living. But I am slowly but surely growing. I I want to I want to have a little bit more like what I would consider true fans, right? Like true fans are people that want to support your work no matter what, right? No matter what you put out. You sell a soda, they're like, bet, I'll buy your soda. You write a book, they're like, bet, I'll buy your book. You freaking have a t-shirt, they're like, bet, I want your t-shirt, right? If I can reach 1,000, that's all you need. You need 1,000 true fans. And then you never have to worry about finances again, right? But it's proved to be harder. Proved to be harder than it looks to do that. I have been showing up every single day for the last 1,719 days. And we've gotten to like about 20 true fans, maybe. All right. So if I did that math, I shouldn't do math like this because I'm gonna demoralize myself. But if I had to extrapolate, all right, I've been able to get, let's do 22. 22 divided by 1,719. So I've been able to hit about a percentage of a person per day, right? So by that extreme, in order to reach, in order to reach 1,000 people, it'll take me 12 decades. Fine, fine. I'll spend the next 12 decades. You think I'm fucking joking, universe? I'll do it. 120 years ain't nothing. 120 years ain't nothing to me, bro. I'll do it though. I'll do it anyway. Love is true. Didn't remember. I'll be honest, it's tough. Oh yeah, it's not easy doing anything worthwhile. CVS. Anything worthwhile is not going to be easy to do, right? And remembering that helps a little bit sometimes. And teeth like Tom Welling. I feel very seen. Thank you, Jackie. Love is true. It's not hard to buy property. It's hard to buy your dream. It is hard to buy property, Darren. Oh goodness, bro. Like again, different times in our lives, maybe. Right? Maybe you're like already, maybe you already have assets. Maybe you're already earning a high income. So you have like access to loans and stuff. If you have access to loans, then it's easy, right? Buying property because you're literally buying a valuable asset with someone else's money, right? And that's great. That's fantastic. However, nobody will trust me. Nobody will trust me because I don't have the backing to be able to like actually pay back the loan that I take. All right. So in that way, it is a little bit harder for people my age. Just got here. What is this live stream about? This one specifically about what we're fixating on. And it seems we are getting a little bit fixated on economic value and how to ensure that you are taken care of in the long term, which is fine, right? It's also a part of the conscious evolutionary process. Yet another mindless and ultimately meaningless live stream with no discernible value, yes, or observable purpose whatsoever. So adios and good luck. You feel that? That's a sense of relief that that person is no longer here. Oh, GVs. This space is about spirituality and metaphysics. So we cover a lot of ground that we do. See, get property, and then grow those seeds. There we go. Love is true. Growing seed is profit that's not ramping up and down. Yep. The reason that stocks or assets like crypto are volatile is because they're so liquid, right? Where if I wanted to sell my house, the amount of paperwork that's involved, the agreement that I have to have with another person, that person having to have the money to back up them getting a loan or having to have the money to potentially pay for my property in cash, yada, 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 right? All of that stuff takes weeks, right? So, of course, the housing market isn't going to be as volatile as something like a stock is. Because if I decided, if I was in a rough position right now and I wanted to sell, to liberate some money, I can do that like that, you know, takes me an instance, right? And in that way, we human beings are very predictable and very emotional, and we trade based on how we on vibes, how we feel. This thing we read on the news today, right? And in that way, things go up and down. But the trend in the long term is, again, we're printing more money and we're adding more economic value with our work day by day. So there is literally more value competing for everything in our space. So things have to become more expensive over time. It's not linear. It's like a plant. It grows slow. As more leaves come in, it grows faster and faster. Yeah, I agree with that. But you do know that it's the exact same thing with stocks as well, right? If you have one little stock and then that stock doubles in value, you now have double the value. But let's say that stock was $100. Now you have $200. Where if you have 1,000 stocks, right? That's a million. And then now it doubling in value. Now you have 2 million, right? Going from 1 million to 2 million is a lot more fast than going from 100 to 200. It's the exact same exponential, right? But again, depending on how much value you have invested, the payout is significantly higher, right? And in that way, it's the same thing, bro. It's the same thing. There is no difference. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm. Precious swamp yeti, man bear cub is fine. He's eating more and more every day and is starting to pull himself up to sitting. That's so wholesome. Thank you for asking. Because smoking random chemicals is better. I am not sure that I said that. I don't know if you were arguing with someone else. Potentially you were. Would you ever eat a Snickers bar upside down? Yeah, see, bro, like there's something wrong with some people. There's a lot wrong with something. There's vaping where you hit a cartridge of oil, and then there's dry herb vaping, which is what he's doing. I'm not doing it right now, technically, but it's true, right? Like there is medicine in plant material. Like we know this. Like that's why we eat food, right? That's why, like, I don't know if you know this, but all of the medicine we have in our world came from plants originally too, right? We had to learn from the plants. So yeah, there is a lot out there, that's good for us in here. The little critter will eat you out of the house and the home. Best thing is to let them eat and sleep as much as they want for the first few years. Motivation and productivity comes later. It's true. I used to eat a lot and sleep a lot as a teenager, right? And I was very unmotivated to be anything other than that. And then when I became an adult, uh, things changed. And the motivation that I have to actually make something of myself and to, you know, do cool things in this world has definitely changed. You are right about giving him that space. Sam, I'm sure he's perfect. Just keeping him safe until he can move more freely. And there we go. This is our Jon Snow, low-key famous. So that's an average. You've been doing this for 3 years. It's going on 5 years now, Shani. Right? End of this year, it's gonna be 5 years that I've done it. 5 years, every single day. Not missing a single day, all right? Just throwing myself up against the meat grinder of reality. Life is pain, as they say, but we do it anyway, don't we? Right? You see me stopping? Give me 10 more decades. I'll have some, thank you. I'll spend the next 12 decades, melt in 10 decades. I know you motherfuckers here. Oh, love is true. We are 7 people here. Yeah, we are. You're right. 7 souls. I've I have very rarely been in a room with 7 people that I actively like was talking to, right? Maybe with family, but friends, right? Usually My friend groups are no more than 4 people plus myself, right? More often than not, it's just me and another friend. And then if it's not just me and another friend, it's me, another friend, and another friend, like 3 people in a space, right? And that has served my soul very well to have conversations with just 2 other people, right? So the fact that there are 7 people here, holy shit, that's an order of magnitude almost. Not exactly. Order of magnitude would be 20 people. All right, but 7 extra people now in this moment, that's a lot. Thank you for giving me even a moment of your time. You are loved, dear friend. It's hard to find good property, the one that's not breaking down exactly, where it will end up just costing you more money to actually get it back to something that's livable. I was talking about your YouTube growth. Funny, it works both ways though. It's true. It's true, Darren. And in that way, I am patient, right? I am patient with the process, right? If I wasn't, and I was purely fixated on money, right, then I would have given up a long time ago, a long, long time ago. But I am obsessed, fixated on making something that is more valuable than money is, right? Let's say 100 years pass, right? And the only reason we have money is almost to let our robots, right, reach consensus, right? And again, it's going to be crypto based, right? So the robots have to reach consensus that if they're going to create some economic value, they need to be able to exchange something for something, right? And in that way, all of the money happens almost like subconsciously. And we human beings just live in a world where there's more than enough of everything. In that world, i.e., in a world where money ceased to exist to us, it will still exist to the system as it is, but it will cease to exist to us. What will I have to show for my life? And in that way, I'll have this. I'll have this proof that I have shown up for decades, millennia. I have been that person that's willing to show up for conscious evolution, that's willing to have a conversation about what's important, that's willing to feel into his human experience authentically and even in the face of other people, not shying away from what you might think of me. And I do believe that is infinitely more valuable than any amount of money that I could ever hope to earn doing this. Monthly, MeltMore makes colorful generalizations. Yeah, generalizations help our ego find some sort of comfort, some sort of stability in what it thinks it is. All right. Like in general, I like the way trees look. You know, I think trees look beautiful. That's a generalization. But in that, there are so many different trees. And there are so many different ways for them to be beautifully. All right. Like, let me show you what I'm looking at. All right, look at that tree. Isn't that gorgeous? And then look at that tree. So much different, still gorgeous. And look at that peach tree. A little bit harder to see with the background, but still so pretty. And that tree has seen better days, right? 2 of its big branches had to be cut off because they died. Still beautiful. And then behind me, look at that big old tree. Isn't that incredible? I think so. And then there's that one. They're technically not native to our country, so people don't like them always. And then there's this one. This one has this beautiful yellow flower that smells like sweet roses. You know, making generalizations like trees are beautiful can be limiting as an expression, but it isn't any less true, Hoopy. You know, like I can take the time to unfold all of the different beauties that I appreciate, but if the point is for me to come across to you that I am a tree lover, then saying I think trees are beautiful suffices. It does the job. Oh, that's what language is for. That's why we talk, right? We don't have the ability to brain computer interface each other just yet. And that will come. But in the meanwhile, we use our words. To generalize a moment is to disconnect and observe the moment. That is true. 1 acre of land, which can be bought for around 1,000. 1,000 what though? 1,000 what? $1,000 can grow hundreds of plants. Property doesn't mean house. That's also true. Uh, but again, right, like I can't live on just an acre of land without there being a domicile on it. Right. I do want to get myself a EV van, right? Like I call it in my mind the Solar V. All right. And then it's like a box that has a bed in it and has a shower and has a toilet and has a little kitchen that unfolds from the side of it. And then it has 3 stacks of solar panels that I can unfold to create awnings for myself. And then I can eat sunlight and then I can move my vehicle, right? That's all the property that I need. I don't need a house. I don't need a piece of land. I don't think, at the very least, that that's going to make me feel more abundant. Abundance to me is health and experience, right? And I am trying to take as good care of my health as I possibly can in this space. But unfortunately, when you live in the same space, you limit the amount of experience that you can hope to gain. And it is prohibitively expensive for me to travel at this point of my life. But I do look forward to being able to at one point. Bruh, this isn't a good luck. A good look, maybe you're talking about? I'm not trying to appeal to you, Gothic. I don't care whether you think I look good or not, right? Like, I have a certain level of self belief and conviction in my journey that your approval means nothing to me, not even a little bit, right? And that might be a little bit harsh to say because, of course, in me trying to appeal to you, maybe you'll give me some of your dollars, but I'm not going to beg for it, right? I'll create value. And if you see value in what I create, then you can share some of your value with me. And if you don't, then the conversation is finished, isn't it? All right? Like you can move along. But if you're still here, then clearly your literal biology, your brain is telling you there's something valuable here. I need to keep watching, right? So, by your own definition, your literal eyes and ears giving me their attention, you are attributing value to this moment. Do you realize that? Do you even understand what value is? Do you understand what entertainment means? People used to literally murder each other for entertainment, all right? The Colosseums. They used to kill one another, and people would sit in the stands just to have something to look at, something to pique their interests, all right? The world has changed, and we have to change alongside it, all right? That's at least the way that I see it. Seeing the world through rose-colored lenses is to seek the beauty in almost everything. It doesn't have to be defined and specialized to make the point. The point is to understand that love is true. We enjoy life, all of life. Yeah. Like I am a little bit tired right now. And I can feel that sense of like mind pressure. And even that I can find some inkling of joy out of where I'm like, huh, neat. I can feel things. Isn't that cool? Carrying judgment over another human is the epitome of lack of perspective. We just exist, little homie. Embrace it or don't. Yeah, and again, right? Like I understand as well that the level of insecurity you have to have in your own spirit to like use your lifetime, all right? This time, this finite time you have to try and break someone else down, right? Successful people don't do that. I at least understand that much of it as well, right? A person that has garnered success of their life, they don't waste their time telling other people what is and isn't a good look, right? They have other things to worry about. They have way more to do than that, right? And the kind of person that keeps themselves busy doing that, like again, it's like the whole fractal of like, I don't take advice from people that are $100,000 in debt, on how to manage my finances. And I don't take advice on how to live my life with people that are miserable, right? That's kind of the way that I see it. And I feel like it peeves people a lot that I have that level of, devil may care attitude. My uncles, for example, they very much did not appreciate that. My uncles, unfortunately, right, I wouldn't want their lives at all, right? And despite that, they are so pressed on giving me advice, right? Letting me know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I'm like, uh-huh. And then if I do that, then I'll get to live your life. Is that how it works? And I'm like, well, have you considered that I don't want to? Wait, what do you understand about spirit? I understand that I am one, at the very least, right? Do I understand more than that? Hmm. I'd probably be lying if I said I did, right? Spirit is something disembodied, something that goes beyond the flesh. I've had many experiences that reminds me that I am not just this. I am this as well, but I'm also everything else simultaneously, right? And depending on how much I fixate my consciousness, the more I get to experience, or the less I get to experience. Nature brought me. I'm a grower by heart. I think if everyone just plants a seed, it'll change their life. I actually completely agree with you on that, Darren. We had a conversation 2 days ago, I believe 2 days ago, where I was advocating for the exact same thing, right? My personal experience was with growing a Mary plant. If you know, you know, right? And there is a certain level of deep spirit satisfaction that arises when you care for a plant, when you put a seed in the ground, and then you watch that seed become a little sapling, and then you watch that little sapling become what you would consider a plant, and then you watch that plant become a big old bush, and you watch that bush uh, transition through its sexual stages, to have flowers or bear fruit, know it up. And then you can prune your plant and you can help train it, you know, shift the branches out so it captures more sunlight. And there is a deep personal, almost like human satisfaction, spiritual satisfaction that comes with that process because you get to be there for the full life cycle of an entity, right? And that entity is aware of you, and your influence on that entity can be noticed, right? And then at the end of it, you get to appreciate all of that human effort, right? You and nature co creating something. And then there is this payout, this product, this produce that you get to consume, right? And then in the consumption thereof, you get to taste the delicious flavors, you get to appreciate the sensations that come alongside. And as you said, Darren, unfortunately, in our current society, many people are very disconnected from that reality where we live in a world where you can go and buy produce at the store and you never have to even think about where it came from or how much effort it took to make that or the sunlight that that plant absorbed or the water quality that was put on that plant or the quality of the soil and the fact that there are microbes literally eating dead things, farting and pooping, and then plants eating those farts and poops. All right, like there's so much intricacy in the plant growing process, and we are unfortunately very devoid from that in our modern realities. I still need a house guy for my Florida house. Dream, I would love you to come and live in the swamp and keep an eye on my stuff for a bit. We haven't figured out all the logistics yet. I would be honored if it actually happens, though. I'm still sliding through the paperwork. That's wholesome. I wonder if Dream Tooth would be down. You do something like that, Dream Tooth? That sounds fun. I've really like even fantasized about the whole fractal of like house sitting. Can't imagine it being good fun. I think it'd be a good house sitter. I've house sat in my life, taking care of people's dogs and making sure their home was safe. You went somewhere talking about that. Awesome to see. Nature is everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. It's true, Darren. I am a hippie, you know, through and through. I am in complete agreement with you about the whole planting stuff. I have plants growing right now, all right? Like this conversation makes me want to go and check on them. So it's true. But again, not everybody has the patience to, and many people don't believe they're capable of it, right? We definitely have, unfortunately, as a species, gotten really good at learned helplessness. That's the word. Melty, this stuff is coming to fruition. It's pretty freaking cool. I'm so happy for you, bro. This has been a long time coming. I know. I'm happy that it's happening for you. A new chapter of life starting soon. Ugh, ugh, we have been here for 1 hour. Look at us. I'm happy that we showed up. I think it's time for me to show you some art and then say you some goodbye. Okay, I was about to say, I thought for a second my post didn't post yesterday, but it did. This was yesterday's work of art. Kinda wanna dance with you on Wednesday. Wednesday is coming up fast, bro. I'd love to have you join me. You do know I always invite you friends too. Look at that dude. Jovan, there you are, just in time to give me heart eyes. Hey, Zhao. Zhou has been with family this weekend. She's been the whole village. I love you, Jovan. My dearest Zhao, my beloved, thinking about you. So much warm love. I've been sleeping late. I'm happy that you are. You deserve to get some good rest. We've been taxed mentally, emotionally, spiritually by the world as it is right now. So, you getting some extra sleep makes my heart happy. Now, I shall read for you a poem. It's called We Are the Waking. We are waking, not by accident, not by decree, but by the breaking of old illusions, by the crack in the mirror where power once hid. The towers built on silence tremble, their foundations carved from secrecy, crumble beneath the weight of too many eyes opening at once. The veil is thin now, we see through it. What rises is not a leader, not another throne to bow before, but a chorus, 1,000 voices, 1,000,000 hands agreeing in the open. Trust is no longer something we are sold. It is something we forge, transparent as fire, recorded in the marrow of our shared resolve. Each promise is witnessed, each bond preserved in light. The old world shouts its warnings, but its language no longer binds us. We have chosen a different grammar: consent, clarity, consensus. A covenant that cannot be purchased or betrayed. This is the shape of awakening. Not a single dawn, but a constellation of sparks, each one declaring, I see, I stand, I will not forget. The future is not waiting, it is already here, written in the space between us and the quiet strength of our agreement. Love is true, and truth has become uncontainable. You cannot contain the truth. It is bursting from the seams. It is everywhere, infinitely. No taxes, just the regular ebb and flow. Taxes? You know my taxes? Did Hoopy ask about taxes? I don't see anything about taxes. Love is true. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. What a pleasure. What a pleasure it was to have you hither again. I'll give it one moment to see if there is something to be said. There it is. Melty, my brother, you understand the truth of how the river flows. This is why I continually return. You are a voice in the silence. Thank you. Brother Bear, I'll say this every time you compliment me like this because I really do believe it, that I am a mirror. You know, all of the wisdom, all of the truth that you hear in me is reflected back in you. Right? I'm no more wise, no more insightful, no more kind than you are willing to see me as. Right? And that says a lot more about you than it does about me. I appreciate you. Darren, thank you for the conversation. Stay on your journey. Keep spreading all your arts. You are powerful. Thank you. Like, here I have some of my physical prints as well. I'll keep making stuff, Darren. I'll add value in the way that I can find soul satisfaction in, right? I believe it's valuable for us to practice yoga, so I am a yoga teacher. I like pretty things, right? This world can sometimes be ugly. I used to live in China, right? I used to live in the rough parts of China, right? And it's not pretty, unfortunately. But if there were massive flower murals on all of the buildings that I was passing, even though the buildings were desolate and falling apart, they would still be more beautiful because of it. All right. And then again, conversations. This. This is something that I value deeply in my life. It's one of the most important things that we can do is having open dialogue, actually still having conversations with one another instead of just plugging our ears and be like, I can't hear you. I'll say some profane shit and then I'll just plug my ears, you know. You can't convince me otherwise. Like that's not going to help anybody, right? So we show up. Thank you for encouraging my journey, Darren. Subscribe. I'd like to see you here again, dear friend. I've seen more than a few high strangeness articles about life being a reflection of the real reality across the universe somewhere. As above, so below. We are living in a projection of a hyper reality that is larger than this one. It's true, right? And this flesh vehicle of yours is interacting with a spirit realm as well, right? We cannot determine and cannot see that stuff because, again, if we would, we wouldn't have the wherewithal to bring a spoonful of food to our face to continue feeding ourselves, right? Like it would be too much information. So we filter out all of that stuff, right? We limit ourselves to this, what we call life, so that we can continue living it. I appreciate you, Fred, for doing that. It is a feat to behold, and we are being watched. I appreciate you, friends, for watching me. Thank you for joining in this space. I'll see you, friends, again tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. Sending you blessings for your Monday. Cheers. Goodbye.